Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti visso bhagavāraham samma sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno surato lokavido anattaro purisa dhamma sārate sattva deva manusānaṁ buddho bhagavate Namo tassa samma sambuddhassa. Sakkhato bhagavata sandetiko ehi passiko pacchata veditato viyohete. Namo tassa niyani tassa dhammassa subhadipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangha bhujapadipanno sāvaka sangha nyāyapadipanno sāvaka sangha sāmi Padipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangha yadidam cattari purisa yugani attha purisa purgala esa bhagavato sāvaka sangha Vakkhineyo Anjalitaraniyo Anuttaram Punyakhetam Lokasate Namo tassa Akkhariya Puddala Mahasanghassa Evam Buddhaṃ Sarantanam Dhammam Sangha Bhikkhaво Bhayam Vāchanditataṃ Vālomāṃ So Mahesade Dhanasara Paditena Dipena Tamadhansina Tilodaripaṃ Sambuddhaṃ Pujaya Tamonidam Gandhas Sugandhina Pujaniyantang Puja Bhajanamuttamam Vannagandha Gunopetang Etang Kusuma Sampatum Pujayami Munindassa Siripada Saror Pujayami Buddhaṃ Kusumena Mena Punyena Nedena Charotu Mokkhaṃ Dukkhaṃ Nilayatu Athayiram Me Kāyo Tāyātu Vināsabhāvaṃ Nirodha Samāpatito Vukaipaṃ Sunnassa Hiya Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Imināditena Dhutena Putena Pujemi 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 Imandi Padhupapujadinama Sakala Sambuddhana Ajekabhajana Ajasavakana Mahasavakana Arahantana Shulang Aham Dite Sang Anuvatako Homi Imani Pukhani Vannena Visuvanna Gandhena Visugandham Santanena Visusantana Khepameva Dopannam Vajandha Dosantanam Papunisade Evameva Satte Sankhara Sabbe Sankhara Sabbe Dhamma Nattate Emaya Dhamma no Dhamma Padupattiya Buddham Pujami Emaya Dhamma no Dhamma Padupattiya Dhammam Pujami Imaya Dhamma Dhamma Padupattiya Vandami Chediyam Sabbatane Supatirthitam Saririka Dhato Mahabodhim Buddharupam Satanam Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Vipadevahaya sabba sampatti siddhya sabba vinasaya sabba vinasaya sabba vinasaya Bhave Vibhayo Kadayakam Sabbalokam Hitattaya Paritam Tam Banamahe Samanta Cattavalesu Apragachantu Devata Saddhamman Munirajasa Sunantu Saddhamokkhada Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Bhaganta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Bhaganta Dhamma Savana Kalo Ayam Bhaganta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Yani Bhagavani Samagatani Tasmai Amatta Yankinchi Vittang Bhavam Sagye Suvayam Parivitam Nano Samangati Tathayatena Vedam Vibhadhe Vadanam Parivitam Vedana Satchena Suvati Yam Viragan Parivitam Vedada Satyamuni Samahita Natena Dhammena Samathikinchu Vedam Vidhamne Vadanam Parivitam Etena Satchena Suvati Hota Yang Buddha Setha Parivannaye Suchim Samadhihanam Tarikanyamaho Samadhina Tena Samola Vijjate Vedampi dhamme ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hotu Epagala satam pasatam Chattari ekani evani honte Te dakkiniya sugatassa samata Eke sudinnani mahaphalani Udampi sanghe ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Esopayata manasa balhena Nittamino tamasa sanamhe Te Ladhamudhame Kotimbrungamana Vedampi sanghe ratanan panitam Eke satchena suvati hoto Yathinda kila padavinsitosya Chato bhivate sampatam kiya Tato pamansa purisam vadami Yariya satchami avicca passate Vedampi sanghe ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Ye ariya satchani vibhavayante Gambhira panyena suresitani Punchapite honti busappamatta Nate bhavantathamangādiyante Vedampi sanghe ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Sahavassadasana sampadaya Taya sudhamma jahita bhavante Sattaya vittve chikichitancha Silabhatan vapi yadhatti kinchun Chaturhapaye chavipamutta Chachabhikana Bhagavatam Vedampi sanghe ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Kincham karoti papatam Kayena vacha vivachetasā vā Alabhutasa padichādāya Alabhata dekhavadasa vutta Vedampi sanghe ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Vanapagundhe Bhasitajya Brahmanamase Padamasmin Yene Tathopamandam Bhavaradesare Nibbaranam Paramahitaya Vedampi Panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Varo vadajyo varo varo desaye Vedampi buddhe ratanan panitam Ekena satchena suvati hoto Khenanturanan nalamnati sambhava Viratta ceta avasmi Ekhena bija Nibbanti dhira athayam parita Vedampi sanghe ratanan panitam Edena Satchena Suvati Hoto Yani Dhamma Samagatani Anivayanu Vantaye Tathagatan Deva Manusapoditan Buddhan Namasama Suvati Hoto Yani Dhamma Samagatani Brahmani Vaya Nivantalekhe Tathagatam Deva Manusapoditam Brahman Namasama Suvati Hote Yani Abhutani Samagatani Brahmani Vaya Nivantalekhe Tathagatam Deva Manusapoditam Sanghan Namasama Suvati Hoto Etena Satchavajena Sothina Hoto Sabbada Etena Satchavajena Hoto Jayamangala Etena Satchavajena Padana Ratanatayam Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa sabbutiyo vivajanto sabbarogo vinassato mano bhavattam paraya sukhi dīghāyuko bhavaj bhavato sabba mangalang rakanto sabba devata Sabbabuddhanubhavena sada satthi bhavantano bhavate sabbamangalang rakhantu sabbadevata sabbadhammanubhavena sada satthi bhavantano bhavate sabbamangalang rakhantu sabbadevata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Satthi Bhavantana Nakhataya Kabhutanan Papajanivadana Parittasanubhavena Hamtana Upadave Deva Satukale Nasa Sasampati Protucham Pita Bhavatu Loka Charaja Bhavatu Dhammiko Yanganimita Lavamangalancha Yocha Manapa Satuna Sasabda Papa Jahove Subinangakantan Buddhanubhavena vinasamenta Dhammanubhavena vinasamenta Sanghanubhavena vinasamenta Akasatha ca Brahmata Devanada Mahibhuta Punyantang Anubhavetva Chirang Rakhantu Sasam Chirang Rakhantu Desanam Chirang Rakhantu Mankaram Etavatacham Hehi Sambhatam Punya Sampadam Sabbe Devanumodanto Sabbe Bhutanumodanto Sabbe Sattanumodanto Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Sampatti Siddhya Vidanna Nyataham Nyataya Nyatinang Sukhitaham Nyataya Nyatinang Sukhitaham Nyataya Sadhava Cetana Sayangala Arahantanam ca tejena Rakkhandam dhami sapasa Sabbe Dhamma Hariya Satchanam Chayan Balam Dhammacakka Satejena Rakkhandam dhami sapasa Sabbe Sanghavalapata Vimoktanam Chayambara Sasana Satejena Radhang Bandham Nisabhasa Imina Punya Kamena Mame Bhava Samagamo Satan Samagamo Hote Yava Vanapatya Hiranye Punyakamai Asavathayanga Hate Sarvadukhamuchato Nibbana Sapachayo Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Welcome people who are attending here and also the people who are attending online. Today, like other Sundays, we have got this opportunity to come, practice together, develop our minds. It is wonderful that when we can develop our minds, we can develop the wisdom, we can understand the right and wrong, we can improve the quality of our life in such a great way. So we'll start as usual with the meditation. So I request all of you to sit comfortably, take a comfortable posture. Keep your body relaxed. Make your mind calm and peaceful. Let go all the thoughts. Maybe the sound that might be coming and hitting your ear. But then let your mind be like this. If this sound is coming, I will not go and disturb the sound. Even if this sound is coming, I will not fight with this sound. I will not struggle with this sound. I will let this sound be as it is. This is our time to develop our mindfulness and wisdom. So, for a few moments, just be aware of your body. Whatever you may feel on the body, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, heaviness, lightness, heat or cold, or any kind of feeling that you may feel on your body, just be aware. Know them correctly as it is, but don't try to change them. Don't try to, don't have any intention to change any feeling. Even if it is unpleasant feeling, no need to try to change because we cannot change. Unpleasant feelings and pleasant feelings come and go. So we are not here to change the feelings. We are not here to change anything. We are here to let go. Let go of our clinging towards the feelings. Be aware of the feelings that you feel on the body and then let go. Whatever way mind wants to attach to those feelings, saying this one is good, this one is not good, this one is pleasant, this one is unpleasant, just let go. The feelings and let go. Don't struggle with them, don't fight with them. Don't say, I want this, I don't want this. Similarly, with regard to your mind and mental objects, whatever you may feel, satisfactory feelings, dissatisfactory, unsatisfactory feelings, moods and emotions, thoughts, various mental objects that you are experiencing at this time, whatever those thoughts are, whatever those satisfactory or dissatisfactory feelings are, let them be. Don't try to attach to them. Don't try to change anything. Don't try to cling on to anything. Don't try to reject anything. Just let them be and know them as it is and let them go. Not try to change things. When we do not have liking or disliking for them, then we are free. We are at ease with all things. We don't struggle. We don't suffer. This is the path to freedom. So don't struggle. When you are meditating, don't struggle. Don't suffer. Don't let your mind tell, oh, I cannot meditate. This is too much. The sound is too much. Thoughts are too much. The bodily feelings are too much. They are coming and going like this. What do I do with them? No need to struggle. Let the sound be. Don't disturb the sound. Sound will not disturb you if you do not disturb the sound. Feelings will not disturb you if you don't disturb the feelings. Mind and mental objects will not disturb you if you do not go and disturb them. Just don't like, just don't dislike. Know them and let them go. Let all things be. When we do not struggle with anything, then our mind can be peaceful. Then our mind can be one-pointed. we can use this peaceful mind to understand things deeply. So, if your mind is becoming peaceful, let it be. But don't pray for peacefulness. Don't think, let my mind be peaceful at this time. Don't think like that. If your mind isn't peaceful, if your mind is not peaceful at this time, be. Don't struggle, don't force your mind to be peaceful. Just know that this mind is not peaceful and let it be. Don't force the mind. If it is peaceful, just know, okay, at this time this mind is peaceful and let it be. If your mind has become peaceful, then you can stay. You can use this one-pointed mind, peaceful mind, mind with awareness, to observe your in-breath and out-breath, breathing in and out. When you're breathing in, be aware of in-breath. When you're breathing out, be aware of out-breath. Just the breathing in and out with your peaceful awareness. Observe breathing in and out. Just let your mind stay with the in-breath and out-breath as it is. If your mind moves away from the breath, if your awareness is not with the breath, then be aware that this time my awareness is not with the breath. And then mindfully go back to the breath, in breath and out breath. But don't struggle. Many times your mind may move away from the breath, but you have to be patient, very, very patient to do this. So every time your awareness moves away from the breathing in and out, be aware and mindfully go back to the breath. But don't struggle. Just do it peacefully. And gradually, if you practice like this, eventually it will settle down. But don't expect it to settle down immediately. It takes its own time. And we are here to be patient. We are here to be mindful. We are here not to be unmindful, not impatient. So keep trying patiently and mindfully. If we are sincerely making effort, then our mind will eventually gain samadhi, one-pointedness. It will understand things correctly, but it requires a lot of effort. So as of now, we are trying to establish our mindfulness on the in-breath and out-breath. Therefore, stay with your meditation object mindfully as much as you can. Develop your mindfulness deeply as much as you can. Now you may gradually open your eyes. So, for some time, I have practiced the meditation, mindfulness of breathing, and this, if you cultivate this mindfulness of breathing, because breath is connected with the body, but it is also connected with the mind. If you observe the breath, if your mind has peacefulness, then the breathing pattern is very subtle, not fast breathing, not heavy breathing. Whereas if our mind has no peacefulness, then our breath becomes heavy, irregular, gross breathing. So mind and breath are connected. Breath and body is connected. So when you understand the breath correctly, thoroughly, deeply, fully, completely, we understand this body and the mind completely. If you understand the body and the mind correctly, then we understand whatever we have. Because all we have is this body and the mind, nothing more than this. So whatever experience we do, it's with this body and the mind. Nothing more than this. People can have a lot of things, but whatever they experience is done with this body as well as this mind. Nothing more than this. So we must understand, if we have to understand, develop the reality, wisdom, if you have to develop the wisdom, then it has to be based on understanding of the body and the mind. Today I will speak about 7 types of wealth that Lord Buddha has talked about in the Anguttara Nikaya. 7 types of wealth. So it so happened, at one point of time when Lord Buddha was staying in Savasti, and then the chief minister of King Pasenadi, he was in Pali they call Mahamatta. Mahamatta means like the chief minister or the prime minister of the king. He went to Lord Buddha one time, and after going to him, he bowed down, and then after bowing down, he sat on one side and said, Lord, there is so-and-so person, Migara Rohaneya. He is so rich. He is extremely rich. Then Lord Buddha asked him, okay, his name, the name of the minister was UGGA. So he asked UGGA, how much is his wealth? You tell me. Then he said, Lord, he has, those days, the richness was measured by number of gold coins, basically, how many gold coins people have. So he said he had lakhs of gold coins, what to talk of silver and other jewels, other precious things. He had lakhs of gold coins itself, and then a lot of other silver and other lot of things. Then Lord Buddha said, yes, this Migara Rohaneya, his person is rich, it is true, but then there are certain things, certain dangers of the wealth. In those days also, now also. Now if somebody has wealth can be gained and wealth can be lost. Somebody has business, they can earn the wealth. Tomorrow if the business goes down, the wealth is lost. For example, these COVID times, a lot of the people before COVID times had certain businesses. But then when COVID came, there were lockdowns, shops were shut down, and many businesses were shut for a long time, and so many people lost their business, so many people lost their jobs. So this happened very recently, it's still there. So many big shops were closed down, so many businesses went down because of COVID, for example. So because of natural calamity, because of any kind of natural calamity, whether it is related to disease, whether it is related to fire, air, or fire, water, or any kind of natural calamities, wealth can be lost. Sometimes people earn money, they don't pay taxes, and then the government impose a lot of tax, they take away their money. Now also it happens. In those days also kings used to do the same thing. Now also it happens. Government imposes a lot of tax. It's okay, this is your illegal wealth. You have to give it back to the government. So they take away the money. So the wealth can be lost through because of some government action, or because of some natural calamities, or sometimes because there is fighting in the family amongst the, like it happens in so many, even in big rich families, in the family of billionaires also it happens. Like brothers fight for the wealth, and then they get separated. They lose their wealth, part of their wealth. This happens, no? Even now it happens. Those days also it happened. Or sometimes parents and children, they have dispute over the properties. They file case against each other. They lose money. They lose wealth. So the wealth can be gained, but it has the power. It has the potential to be lost as well. There is no guarantee that if we gain the material wealth, it will always be with us. So now, then Lord Buddha told, Ugga, this kind of wealth people gain, and sometimes they lose as well. But then there are other different types of wealth, noble wealth, which people gain, and nobody can take it away from them. There are these 7 types of wealth. He said, nobody, no kings, no natural calamities, no government, no laws can take this wealth from them. This is our inner wealth. These 7 types of wealth, they are our inner wealth. First is the right kind of faith. The right kind of faith, which is rooted in wisdom. Faith can be many types, you see. In this world, faith can be many, many types. People believe in all kinds of things. People believe morning I get up and see certain bird, it is auspicious. I see another bird, it is inauspicious, like this. They can feel like that. They can believe like that. I do this kind of thing, it is auspicious. I do that kind of thing, it is inauspicious. So faith can be misleading. Faith can lead to, if it is blind faith, not rooted in wisdom, it can lead to suffering or harm. Some people say, if you do not believe what I believe, I have the freedom to kill you. Now that kind of faith is no good. That kind of faith is not really useful. It is harmful. So faith has to be rooted in wisdom. And for example, when your mind has kindness, when your mind has compassion, when your mind has generosity, or when you are trying to be a good person, a kind person, a virtuous person, not harmful to others, helpful to others, then it is good. Then it is a good thing to do. And that has the benefit. When you are a helpful person, you will always receive help from one side or the other. From one person or the other, you are bound to receive help. If you are a kind person, you will receive kindness from one person or the other. If you are a generous person, you will receive generosity from one person or the other. This is the nature of things. But if you are just the opposite of this, not a kind person, not a generous person, not a helpful person, then automatically from other sources, this kind of goodness will not come back to us. So this belief in the right and wrong actions, this is the kind of faith that we need to develop, that good actions lead to good results. Wrong actions lead to pain or suffering. This is the kind of faith we need to develop. So when we have that kind of faith, then it is helpful. So when we say we must have the right kind of faith, then it should be based on wisdom, based on right understanding. When we practice meditation, for example, our mind is peaceful. So when you practice meditation and go back, you can tell people, okay, by practicing meditation, mind becomes peaceful. One simple thing you understand. And for that, you don't need to read books. You don't need to consult other people. You can see it by yourself. So when you practice like this, when you practice goodness like this, when you practice a good life, virtues, for example, 5 precepts: not to kill, not to harm, not to take others' properties, maintain your relationship properly, and being truthful, avoiding intoxicants. So when you follow these good things, then your life becomes good. Your whether life in your family, whether life with your colleagues, with your friends, with your neighbors, everything becomes better gradually. So then these things lead to goodness. So the Lord Buddha is telling us we need to develop the faith in good actions. We need to develop faith in the right actions, and also need to develop the faith that wrong actions lead to harm and suffering, not lead to goodness. So when our mind is not good, if our mind has a lot of greed, if our mind has a lot of hatred, then we must understand this kind of mental state will not lead to any kind of happiness. It will lead to suffering. So that's the kind of faith we try to develop. Faith in the Buddha is faith in enlightenment. The Buddha became an enlightened person by his effort. So when you have the faith in the Buddha is faith in enlightenment. Faith in the Dhamma is faith in the path, that this is the right path. When you practice goodness, path of goodness. Faith in the Sangha means, yes, some people prior to me, before me, they practiced and they became enlightened. Therefore, I also can follow their path and become enlightened. It is possible to be enlightened. It is possible to be free from suffering. So that kind of faith we develop. Then morality or virtuous behavior. Virtuous behavior, why? Because when we have the virtuous behavior, then our life becomes secure. People say there is security, but if you aren't a good person, then you aren't a secure person. If you have a lot of bad qualities, if you are a harmful person, if you are a person who has a lot of anger or jealousy or negative qualities, you can never be secure. Some way or the other, somebody or the other will be against you. This is a fundamental thing. But if you have goodness, if you have kindness and compassion, if you have virtues with us, if we have virtues with us, then automatically we are secure people. So that security comes from our own good actions. Security does not come from other people. Some people in the past, now also, or in future, like people appoint bodyguards. Maybe some big ministers or even prime ministers or presidents, but then still they get assassinated, still they get killed or harmed by others. So this is not the kind of security Lord Buddha was telling us to rely on. He is telling us, if you wish to be secure, then you must develop goodness of virtue, goodness of kindness and compassion, kindness towards yourself, kindness towards other people. Your actions should be based on goodness for yourself and for others. If you have that kind of actions, then you will be secure because you will have a lot of friends and very few or no enemies. Simple. But if your action is just the opposite, harmful to others, you will have a lot of enemies and hardly any friends. Who will make you secure? So the wealth of virtue, wealth of good conduct, then wealth of right kind of mindset. If our mind wants to do, mind tells us, oh, I will go do this, something which is not right, something which is not wholesome, something which is wrong. We should be afraid of that kind of mind. We should restrain ourselves not to do that. Any anything unwholesome, you name it. Started from just telling a simple lie to taking alcohols to anything. If our mind wants to go in that direction, then we contemplate, oh, these aren't the right kind of actions. So if I do, suffering is going to come to me today or tomorrow. I can't escape this. If I don't do, if I avoid, then I will avoid suffering. So the right kind of mindset, right kind of mindset, right kind of consciousness, conscience. Hiri, in Pali we call it hiri. Hiri means moral shame or wise shame. The shame that is rooted in wisdom. There are two kinds of shame in the world. One is rooted in wisdom. When you are about to do something wrong, your wise shame tells you not to do. And then there is unwise shame. Then that kind of shame people can have, but it is of no great use to people. So we must develop the wise shame, not the unwise shame. So in Dhammapada, Lord Buddha says, there are a lot of people, in fact, the majority of the people, they aren't ashamed of the things that they should be ashamed of. So when they do something wrong, they aren't ashamed. But they are ashamed of what other people might say if they don't follow the other people's words, even if it is wrong. So Lord Buddha is telling us, you must have a wise shame, not an unwise shame. What is wrong. Other people tell, don't tell, doesn't matter. We know it is not proper. So then we stop ourselves with this wise shame, and then the wise fear. Because we reflect on the consequence of the wrong actions. If I do this, the bad consequence, the evil consequence, the painful consequence will come to me. So this also is a wealth. Wise shame and wise fear. But most people unfortunately go by unwise shame and unwise fear. So we must develop wise shame and wise fear. And then generosity, open-handedness. In Pali we call it Macharya. Macharya is, Lord Buddha said, like stinginess. You can say it is stinginess. Not open-handed, not willing to give, not willing to share, having a lot of stinginess. Lord Buddha said it's a stain. Like if you have a nice piece of new cloth and then some ink or some dark color or something falls on it, there's a stain on the cloth. Lord Buddha said, stinginess is like this stain on your mind. Macharya is like a stain, a bad mark on your mind, stinginess. So we must develop generosity. Not everybody has the same amount of wealth, but whatever way we can, we try to help others in big way or in small way. Not everybody need to give very big dana, but if they can do dana, they can share their wealth or their whatever their resources they have with other people in big way or in small way, and they can make a habit of this sharing. Important thing is to make a habit of the sharing, make a habit of the generosity, make a habit of the dana. That is important. One time we give and then we don't give at all, then it is not good. But we try to give again and again, even if it is little, even if it is small, that has great value. So this generosity, this is a wealth. Then learning about the Dhamma, asking attending, say now you are attending discourse. You are learning something. And then after learning, what do? After learning, you recollect those things. You mentally recollect again and again, think about them. Or if you have a doubt, you go and ask. You come and ask the monks, what about this point? I did not understand, Bhante. Please explain that one or this one. So like that, learning and recollecting, so that your mind has a lot of clarity. When you learn like this and think like this and contemplate, your mind has a lot of clarity about the nature of things. When this clarity is there, then automatically we have wisdom to know the right and wrong. So this is essential. Learning, contemplating, trying to learn, trying to contemplate, trying to understand, trying to grasp the meaning about the right, wrong, and about our path to practice, all these things. And then finally, this is also a wealth. And then finally, the meditative wisdom, understanding the nature of this body, understanding the nature of this mind, how it arises, how it passes away, the impermanence, the anicca dukkha anatta, starting with impermanence of all conditioned phenomena. Knowing the rise and fall, knowing how we cannot rely on things for too long. Eventually it will change. Eventually it will not be reliable. And for that, we need to also practice a lot of meditation. It will not just come like that. We have to practice meditation. So these 7 things. When you have the right kind of faith, then you go to the right kind of people. You take the right kind of advice. You do the right kind of actions. But if you have the wrong faith, you go to the wrong people. You take wrong advice. You do wrong actions. So, and you do wrong actions, you only become the loser ultimately. You only lose. So that's why the right faith is a wealth. If you have the virtue, if you have the goodness, if you have the morality, then automatically, as I said, you have a lot of friends and no enemies, or very few or no enemies. And that's a wealth, because those friends will come and help you when you need. But if you have no virtue, no goodness, then you have a lot of enemies. They are always looking for opportunities to harm you. And when they get an opportunity, they will eventually harm you. So that's a loss. So that's why Sila is also a wealth. If you have the right mindset, if you avoid the wrong actions, if you are afraid of wrong actions, if you are shameful of wrong actions, then you will avoid them. When you will avoid them, you will avoid the suffering. So you will have faith. That's also a kind of wealth, avoiding suffering. And then this generosity. When you have generosity, you will have, when your people are generous, sometimes some people, they think by sharing their wealth with others, they become poor. I pity such people. I absolutely pity such people. They have no idea how to live their lives. When you share your wealth, be assured that whatever wealth you share with others, much more than that will come back to you. This is not something, a theory. I have seen it in my lives. I have seen it in the lives of many. Not just one or two, many. That's a fact of life. So don't be afraid of being generous. Now here in this world, people are, as I said, people are afraid of being generous, and people are not afraid of being stingy. That's the kind of fear, wrong fear, unwise fear. People are ashamed of being generous. People are not ashamed of being stingy. They openly say, I don't want to give to others. That's the wrong kind of shame. So when we have the generosity, we will always have enough to overcome whatever crisis we have. Because when we share with others, we will always receive much more. That is the law of nature. When we don't share with others, we should not expect others to share with us when we are in crisis. It will never happen. So the generosity is a wealth, because by being generous, we can gain more. And then learning to develop our mind, what is right, what is wrong, asking questions, trying to remember, trying to recollect, trying to understand deeply again and again. And then finally, practicing meditation to understand the real nature of all things, the real nature of our suffering, the cause of our suffering, the ending of our suffering, how the suffering arises, how the suffering comes to an end. So when we have this, automatically we will be the persons who has gains, we will be the persons who has no loss. Opposite, if we are opposite of these things, if we have no right kind of faith, if we have no virtue, if we have no wise shame, no wise fear, if we have no generosity, if we are just stingy people, if we have no learning, if we are ignorant people, if we have no wisdom, just imagine the scenario. That's a life of darkness. That's a life of ignorance and darkness. And that kind of life is not going to produce anything good. That's not a life of wealth. That's a life of poverty. So these are the 7 types of wealth. Right faith, right confidence, virtues, and wise shame, and wise fear, and the generosity, and learning, and then wisdom. These 7 types of wealth, Lord Buddha said, if anybody develops, nobody, no human, no divine being can snatch it away from you. If you develop this wealth, this will be your wealth, because nobody has the power to take away your own goodness. If you have goodness in your mind, nobody has the power to take it away. Other things, external things, people can take away. But your own goodness of your mind, nobody can take it away. And that's why Lord Buddha says, if people develop this type of wealth, automatically their mind will enrich and go towards freedom, go towards liberation. So this much we offer for your contemplation and practice. And if you have any questions, then you can ask. Does anybody has any questions? If no questions, then we'll conclude. If anybody has questions, then we can ask. If no questions, then we'll conclude. Oh, yeah. There are 2 things. If you have to keep your mind calm, then if your mind has to be with the right kind of mental object. If you want your mind to be calm, then you must know the right kind of mental object. For example, if you learn how to keep your mind with your breath, when you are lying down, when you are walking, when you are sitting, when you are standing, in all postures, if you are able to maintain some awareness about your in-breath and out-breath, then your mind will not be distracted. Or if you are able to maintain awareness of your bodily postures, then your mind will not be distracted. Or if you are able to maintain awareness of your feelings on the body. So you have to take a right object. You have to take a right object, and then that's the first thing. But then you have to practice with that object for some time. That's the second thing. So it will not happen immediately. It will take time. But if you take the right object and keep your mind with that object, again and again you go back to that object, my object of your mindfulness, then eventually it will have calmness. So then we'll conclude with the chanting of metta. Sukhi bhave agne dokho ahang nichang ahang viya ita cha me sukhi honto ma cha ta cha verino emani gama ketam hi sata honto sukhi sada Sato parancha rajyeso chakavale sujantano sadhu sadhu sadhu